Thank you so much for joining our today's course. Welcome to the discipline called Fundamentals in Entrepreneurship. My name is Cătălina CRIFTAN. I'm Associate Professor at Babeș-Bolyai University, the Faculty of Economics and Business Administration. I'm also the coordinator of the UBB Student iLab. This is the incubator of the Babeș-Bolyai University. And I will tell you a little bit about this structure that is available to you in case you want to go deeper into entrepreneurship by developing your own concept, business concept. I have to mention the fact that I'm the tutor for the students enrolled at the Faculty of Economics and Business Administration. And I will provide the support to the students from my school related to this course and discipline as well. So what's going to be today's agenda? We are going to discuss about the approach. Also, we will see, you will have a small introduction regarding the courses you will have access through this discipline. Also, we'll speak a bit about the expectations, the evaluation method, and we will start with the first topic that addresses innovation and entrepreneurship. We are going to speak about the terms that you are going to use during this discipline. We are going to see the classifications, several classifications that take into consideration the degree of innovation and the mission when it comes of entrepreneurship. Also, we will speak a little bit about innovation and the role of innovation in entrepreneurship and problem solving. In the end, we will highlight some key takeaways, and we will have an evaluation that I will tell you about in a few minutes. So how will we do it? As you may know, this course is available online, and it's available to all the students from Babeș-Bolyai University. You have two different codes. In order to the students from master, you already have the details on the slides. So the course is available to the master students and bachelor. Don't forget to join every Thursday, starting with 6:15 p.m. for sure. And what you have to know is the fact that all the details related to the course, the topics that are going to be discussed, are going to be available on a website, Dan Mircea Suciu. You have here the link. At the same time, if you search on Google, Dan Mircea Suciu Fundamentals in Entrepreneurship, you will find very easy the course. And actually the materials you need, the website with the materials that are used during the courses. So there will be slides, you will find there the slides, the recordings, also information regarding the speakers who are going to deliver the courses. And through this course, you will have a great opportunity to interact with academics and practitioners. And you will you will have the opportunity also not only to learn about new things, but also to interact with them. So feel free to ask questions. Also during this course, if you have questions, if you don't understand something, feel free to interrupt me, and we will discuss and we will clarify everything. Also, you will find there some useful resources that you should consider. And as I mentioned, I'm the tutor from the Faculty of Economics, but then because we have a large university with 23 schools, in order to have the support you need, in order to access the information, if you have questions, feel free to approach the tutors from your school. You will have a list on the website with the contact details of the tutors. So feel free to ask them questions, and I'm pretty sure that my colleagues will reply to you very soon once you will approach them. The web page looks like that. You will find there the details. As I mentioned, the slides, the video recordings, and the quiz that I will discuss and that you will have actually after this course. After each course, you will have access to a quiz based on what have been discussed during that specific course. The evaluation method, how you are going to be evaluated for this discipline, Fundamentals in Entrepreneurship. So at the end of each course, you will have access to 6 questions, and you will have 30 minutes to answer to those multiple choice, to those questions. Actually, you have just out of the alternatives that you have there, only one question, only one answer is valid. So it's quite easy. You will see. What you have to know is the fact that we will finish the course around 7:30, and between 7:30 and 8 p.m. The quiz will be available to you. At the end of each, course, you will, as I mentioned, you will have to fill out the quiz, and then the score. All the scores will be. We will calculate the sum of all those results, and then you will have the final grade. If you are not satisfied with the result, then you will have another opportunity to be reevaluated in the re-examination session. So you will have to search for the details related to that specific exam. And what you have to know is that if you are not satisfied with the score, then you have another chance to take the exam. Regarding the quiz, you have to know the fact that this quiz is available in 4 languages: Romanian, German, English, and Hungarian. So you can choose, once you access the quiz, you can choose in the corner, you will find those alternatives. You can choose the language you want to, okay? Regarding the topics, what's going to be discussed during this discipline, so you will have the opportunity to interact with academics and entrepreneurs, practitioners, and the topics that are going to be discussed are about innovation and entrepreneurship, the first course that we will have in a few minutes. Also, this course is going to be available in Romanian, English, and Hungarian, and it will be provided by my colleague Manuela Petrescu, the Romanian line, Sándor Columban at Hungarian, and myself for English line. Next course that will take place next week will be about how to develop, how to ideate, how to come up with ideas, and in order to create a business concept, what kind of steps you need to do in order to validate your business concept in such a way to come up with a valuable product. So in order to develop your value proposition. Digitization is a key element. Nowadays, it's mandatory with the AI changes. We have so many alternatives available, so many tools, and nowadays entrepreneurs with limited resources can develop and scale up very easily if they know how to use AI. So you are going to discuss about this topic, and this is going to be quite an interesting one. Of course, you have to know and you have to evaluate the market. And once you are coming with solutions, with products or services, you need to know your customers. You need to know who is going to be, what are their expectations. You need to develop the customer profile. So knowing how to create a persona, buyer persona is mandatory. So this is going to be a topic that you will address in the fourth course. Also, you have to operate on a competitive market. So you have to know what are the alternatives available, who are the direct and indirect competitors, and what is needed to be done in order to be much better than the others, in order to gain a competitive advantage. Business plan is an instrument, a valuable one at this stage. Once you have to start a business, you definitely need to develop a business plan to structure all your ideas. And this instrument is valuable not only for yourself as an entrepreneur and for your team, but also for the external stakeholders, for the investors, in order to get access to support in order to make your business grow. MVP, a minimum viable product, knowing how to develop a minimum viable product. It's also extremely important, mainly because through a minimum viable product, you can get the feedback from early adapters. And this enables you to be much more agile, to be much more flexible once you know how to do what to do with the information you get. Public speaking, every entrepreneur has to know how to share his ideas, how to make a pitch, how to structure his presentation in such a way to convince the target audience that can be made up of investors, clients, employees. So this is going to be a very nice topic to consider as well. Entrepreneurship ecosystem, you will speak about the opportunities that are available to you, that are coming from the market. Of course, we have to operate on a market. We operate on a market that rises not only threats, but also opportunities to connect with and using and knowing what kind of stakeholders are available on the market and how once you are able to identify opportunities and tailor your strategies accordingly, you will definitely have an advantage. Minimum viable product. This is going to be a topic that is going to be discussed and was discussed also previously, but also it's very much important to know how to collect that information, how to have coming from the customers, and how to be, in order to be flexible, you have to have an agile approach. And that is a methodology that you will learn about, and it's going to be very useful. Ecological entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs have to pay attention to what's happening, not only from on the market, but also it has to be taken into consideration the impact that their businesses will generate over society and citizens. And definitely ecological entrepreneurship raises many opportunities to consider. Funding opportunities, finding financial support. At the beginning, it can be quite difficult. Many entrepreneurs rely on their resources, on family's resources. But of course, if you want to come up with something that involves a lot of effort and energy and, of course, resources, you will have to look for investors, but also for opportunities that are available. And we might find many interesting things when approaching this topic. Regarding the UBB student iLab, I want to mention, and I mentioned at the beginning of the course, the fact that I'm the coordinator of the UBB student iLab. This is an incubator that gives the opportunity to students to develop their business concepts. And if you want to take your business concept, if you already have a business concept, or if you are an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur, you are more than welcome to join the incubator. And there are, of course, you saw some the social media. We are on LinkedIn, on TikTok, and on Facebook and Instagram. Of course, there you can see what we've been able to do up to now. And I invite you to take a look on our previous projects. What I want to mention here is the fact that we have an incubation program. If you want to know more about how to develop a business, there are certain modules that you will have access to. Actually, the idea competition, so the incubation program starts with an idea competition, which is actually gives us the opportunity to see what kind of ideas the candidates have. And there will be a selection process. Of course, during the semester, the students that are enrolled in the incubation program will have the opportunity to pass through different modules. And at the end of the program, we will have a competition, demo day it's called, and is already scheduled to take place on 4th of June. And during this competition, the beneficiaries of the courses will have the opportunity to present, to pitch their business concepts in front of business people from and the evaluators. The jury is made up of entrepreneurs and instructors, business people, and professors from Romania, but also from other countries. The competition is hybrid, so it gives the opportunity not only to get validation from people that have a great experience in the area of entrepreneurship, but also through this competition you will have access to certain grants and financial support. Another program that we run is called the Internationalization Program. Through this program, actually, we give the opportunity to our students to meet with international instructors, and actually they are coming in the UBB Student iLab, and they are replicating their programs. This gives you the opportunity to have access to the best practices. The first guest speaker is Bruce Browder from Oklahoma University, and if you want to join his course, you have there the QR code, and you will have to fill out the form, and we will be more than happy to have you in class. Okay, and now I want to ask, first of all, I want to see if there are questions related to the content that I delivered to you today up to now. And feel free to ask me. Before starting, I would love to see if there are any other questions coming from you. If not, then we will continue with the course. So I will start by with a quote that of Peter Drucker. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Actually, we have to mention the fact that entrepreneurship can be gives you the opportunity to follow your own dreams. The idea is that once you are an entrepreneur, definitely you have the freedom to follow your hobbies, the priorities you consider. Of course, there are consequences, definitely, but then once you are passionate, once you associate the startup with once you rely on a passion, once you start a business, and you use the knowledge and the expertise because you have a certain hobby, then it's going to be much more easier to face challenges, and you will be able to reach your full potential. So let's see what an entrepreneur is. Of course, The most associated name with the term of the entrepreneur is the one of Joseph Schumpeter. He defines the entrepreneur as the innovator who leads the creation-destruction process of capitalism. Definitely, once you come up with new approaches, this means that the ones that are used are becoming obsolete. Of course, entrepreneurs are those people that are coming with new things on the market. They are constantly trying to, they are creative. They are willing to reconfigure the way things are done, and then they ensure the continuity and the development of the economy. A more complex definition is provided by Scarborough. And once we talk about an entrepreneur, once we refer to an entrepreneur, we have to have in mind that person that is creating a business, a new business, facing uncertainty, with the purpose to create value, to create growth, profitability, by making use of the opportunities available on the market and making use of the available resources in order to create something valuable, as I already mentioned. This is a definition. We have the law 133 that defines the term entrepreneur. So take this into consideration, okay? So the entrepreneur, it's an authorized individual, or it can be a legal entity that has the purpose to create profits, relying on goods and delivering services under competitive circumstances. The entrepreneurial profile is quite, I'm pretty sure that you had the opportunity to meet, to interact with entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, and you saw the fact that their profile is very complex. And I will start by mentioning that definitely entrepreneurs have to be optimistic. They are individuals that are willing to find. Actually, they see opportunities where others see only problems, and most of the entrepreneurs that are successful on the market, until they have been able to reach that success, they had to struggle, they had to face different challenges. So having an optimistic perspective regarding the future actions, regarding the things that can be done, will help every entrepreneur to be much more engaged and much more motivated to try new things. Of course, they have to show responsibility, and they will be responsible not only for their own actions, but also they will have to be responsible for the output of their businesses. For sure, we have to take this into consideration, the fact that they have to be future-oriented, self-discipline. It's also something that have to be taken into consideration. They are human beings like us, and of course, they struggle once they have good and bad days. But once they have made a commitment, they have to keep their promises. And once they are not able to do that, they have to explain what happened and try to come with solutions to the situations that are not necessarily, that are beyond their controls. Once we are talking about their profile, we had the opportunity to see that they are very charismatic. They like to take risks, and it's quite important to mention here that the fact that they have to be flexible, and they have a higher tolerance for ambiguity. We don't have all the especially once we start a business, we might have many. We have to consider several variables, and some of them are beyond our control. And as entrepreneurs, we have to take actions, even if we don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. Also, entrepreneurs are eager to learn, very open to what's new and different, and they see opportunities where others don't. Looking for feedback is essential, mainly because you have to see the results, the output of your work. And I have to mention here that it's very much important, not necessarily to associate everything with money, but then you have to evaluate, you have to set some KPIs in order to see the way you have been able to accomplish certain tasks. And just to start a small conversation with you, because I know that sometimes it's quite difficult to stay and listen what others are saying. I want to come up with a question. Do you know this entrepreneur? Do you know Mr. Beast?
No.
No, you don't know Mr. Beast. No? None of you?
I know him.
Okay. What do you know about him? You have there some numbers. I was surprised to see the fact that in 2024, he had around 240 million subscribers. And 1 year later, he has 467 million subscribers. So the number of users is rising exponentially. So can you tell me a little bit about why do you think that this guy is very successful? It's a young entrepreneur. Why do you think that what do you know about him?
Well, I know he makes videos that are quite entertaining. And one thing I saw about his videos is that the way he makes the thumbnails basically makes you click the video and engage with it.
Mm-hmm. But why do you think that? So what kind of content have you seen more specifically? Competitions? What can you share a little bit more about that and the experience you had?
The most I saw competitions between his subscribers or so.
Actually, the subscriber have the possibility to become guests in his competitions, and they can win something. What do they? They have access to something.
Mostly money. They can win money. Mostly.
And the prizes are quite big, isn't it? And there are very few that are winning, he has a large pool of people that join his competitions, and the competitions, and in the end, one or very few people get a lot of money. So, what else? What else? Do you know something else about what he's doing? What do you think? What's the business model? How does Mr. Bean get the money?
Mostly from views, I think. Okay. He's paid by YouTube. And I know he has some brands like a chocolate brand.
Very good.
And something else, and I don't quite remember.
Yes, for sure. So he has his own brands, but at the same time, he promotes other brands within this competition. So this is another source of money for his business. So definitely, this is quite an interesting business model. At the same time, is quite successful, as we may see. The fact that the sponsorship deals are estimated to 2-3 million per sponsored video, which is huge. Okay, thank you for your contribution. Let's continue a little bit and let's discuss a little bit about the key elements that are essential essential once you want to start to follow the entrepreneurship path. So as an entrepreneur, you definitely have to have a growth mindset, meaning that you have to you have to see opportunities. And at the same time, you have to take into consideration the fact that always when there is a problem, there is an opportunity for change. There is an opportunity to innovate, to come up with solutions. Of course, if you have an optimistic perspective, you are more likely to be more creative, to come up with more solutions, to see different angles from the same, and to come with solutions to that specific problem. Imagine yourself if you have an exam. Then if you don't like that discipline, you are more likely to you won't be able to focus too much on that on the learning process. Maybe you won't be able to because of that you won't be able to get the results you want. So once you are more optimistic and you are open to what's new and different, you are more likely to get to better results. Regarding another component that has to be taken into consideration is the knowledge. So, of course, if you want to start a business in a specific area, you definitely need to have access to the knowledge. What's new in the field, you have to know. You have to read articles, materials. You have to continue. The process of learning has to be a never-ending story. The idea is that once you have access to once you know you are a good learner, you are more likely to see possibilities and perspectives that others don't. Of course, knowledge without competencies, without skills, are not so valuable. So developing capabilities by relying on knowledge is essential. Once you know something, you have to experiment. You have to try to put that knowledge into practice. There are so many variables that can change that knowledge into something that is not necessarily valuable at that specific time. So competencies comes with experimentation. Regarding the networks and the fourth component, the community, it's another element that has to be taken into consideration, and I would consider it one of the most important ones. Mainly once you have a business, once you have a concept in mind, once you have a solution, you definitely have to search for people that can help you. At the beginning of your journey, you might not have enough resources or enough knowledge about what you want to do, and getting in contact with people, mentors, entrepreneurs, people that can share their knowledge, joining communities of practice, people that have groups that are made up of people that have similar interests, will enable you to access information that can be extremely valuable for your future activities. Of course, if we are talking about benefits of being an entrepreneur, we might find several. Here are some of them. And I'm pretty sure that you will add even more. Of course, once you start a business, most of the entrepreneurs are willing to start a business because they want to create their own destiny. They want to come up with something new and innovative. They want to reach their full potential, meaning that once you are passionate about what you are doing, you are more likely to reach your full potential, to work hard and to use all the time you have in order to come up to reach what you target. Of course, we have seen the fact that entrepreneurs are among the most or successful entrepreneurs are very rich people. Some of them, most of them that are successful. So we definitely, this might be also another reason to start a business. Of course, starting a business can be really fun once you start with your hobby, once you realize what you enjoy the most. Also, we will talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, considering the mission that the entrepreneur has. Many individuals, many entrepreneurs want to start a business in order to make a difference in the society, to create something valuable for the society, to generate a social or an environmental impact. And once you do that, the society and the community will recognize you for those actions. These benefits do not come easy. Of course, there are so many drawbacks, so many problems that an entrepreneur should take into consideration. First, the uncertainty of income. Many corporate entrepreneurs decided to give up their jobs in order to start a business because they have the experience, the network, the knowledge they need. But once they start a business, they saw, at least at the beginning, they see the fact that it's not very easy, and also the income it might be lower than they used to get. Long hours and hard work, especially at the beginning, they have to work hard. Some of the entrepreneurs mentioned that they have to work 7 days a week, 24 hours, especially at the beginning, in order to make things work, especially once they invested a lot of money in the business. They had to, they invested everything, even their time. So of course, this is one of the challenges that entrepreneurs are facing is also the risk of burnout. Mainly, if you don't have co-founders or people to work with, this might be a huge risk. Regarding the quality of life, of course, at the beginning of in the first year of activities, this might be lower, and high level of stress, discouragement, because the journey is not going to be an easy one. I will speak a little bit about the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. I don't know if you had the opportunity to read or if you know this study. What I want to tell you is the fact that Global Entrepreneurship Monitor is a study that is providing results, or it's providing a perspective regarding the entrepreneurship intentions and entrepreneurship orientation within different countries. In Romania, the Faculty of Economics, we have a team there that gathered the information. And I wanted to stop a little bit on the results, and I want to ask you, what do you think about the fact that what do you think about the results? And more specifically, I want to discuss with you a little bit about the fear of failure. It's you see the fact that the percentage is quite high. Most of the entrepreneurs mentioned the fact that one of the biggest drawbacks that in their entrepreneurship initiatives is considered to be the fear of failure. What do you think, and why do you think that this is so high in our country? I've read an article related to youth entrepreneurs, and the percentage is even higher, around 68%. What do you think about this, and why do you think that we have these numbers? In your particular case, Do you think that this is representative? Why do you think that youngsters or people are more, the fear of failure is so high? Who wants to help me? None? Did you start a business? So you are an entrepreneur. Did your family or somebody that you know have a business? Robert, can you tell me, what do you think about this, the score? Do you know somebody that has a business?
I do.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit? Can you share a little bit about your thoughts related to this this score?
I can't really answer that right now.
But tell me about what you said that you know an entrepreneur. Do you think that it's easy to start a business on the Romanian market? How do you feel it? Do you think that there are some there are many, you see more opportunities than threats, or vice versa? How do you see it?
My opinion is that sometimes it can be easy, but sometimes not. It always depends on the times that we are living in that moment.
Okay, but now, nowadays, what do you think? What's happening in Romania? Do you see uncertainty all over?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there is also an uncertainty. So I believe that investors or whomever wants to open a business is not that eager to do it as of right now, as probably is not the right time. They can unforesee the, let's say, to see a bit in the future, because if there is no stability, they won't risk it to open it or to do something of the sort.
And do you, so yeah, thank you for your answer. If anyone else wants to add something here? No? Okay, hopefully this will change, and things are gonna go in a better direction. But let's see let's speak a little bit about the main stages of entrepreneurship process, what we have to take into consideration. Every entrepreneurship process starts with a problem. We have to identify a problem, because people will want to spend money, will want to pay a price for a solution that solves a problem that they are facing. Okay, either they will pay for a service or a product that brings them happiness, satisfactions, advantages. So definitely, once we the entrepreneurship process must start with the identification of a problem that customers face. Okay, of course, we've all been in the position to identify different solutions, maybe some products, some services, processes, different combinations of resources that can be used in a certain way. But then not everyone is an entrepreneur. Not everyone had the courage or had the willingness to start a business. So there is a need for a trigger or that makes the individual or the entrepreneur to start to put his or her ideas into practice. That trigger can be associated either with a course or with a grant, access to a certain financial support, or maybe with a problem that forces the individual to take actions and to find alternatives in order to have financial, to have access to money, extra money besides the available resources. Of course, the implementation process implies several other steps. During the implementation process, the entrepreneur has to try new things, has to ideate, has to come up with ideas. Through this process, the customer discovery is essential, meaning that even if we have a concept, it's very much important to validate that concept with customers, to discuss with customers in order to understand what their pains are, what kind of solutions do they have available, what possibilities, what are the advantages that they are looking for and they don't have access to. And of course, through the implementation process, all these ideas have to take a structured form by developing or creating a business plan. A business plan enables you to have a much clearer perspective regarding what you want to do. And it's a useful instrument not only for yourself, but also for the people, for external investors, in case you want to, you need more resources. It's very useful to identify co-founders to work with and to make the startup process to launch the business. Once we are talking about a startup, we have to consider the fact that this is just a temporary organization, and this doesn't mean that we are going to have a successful business once we launch a business, for sure. So we have to be able to demonstrate that the business is viable. Many businesses do not survive in the first 2 years of activity. So definitely it's quite important to see the fact the entrepreneurship process actually ends after the first 2 years of activity, while the business demonstrates its viability on the market. Of course, during the growth, maturity, and harvest, these are the following steps. This can be associated with the life of the organization can be associated with the life of human beings. So during the growth stage, normally the entrepreneur has to come up with solutions, with new products, has to find new opportunities on the market. So the strategies has to be oriented towards product development, market development in order to scale up. The harvest is associated with the picking fruit after years of labor. So during the harvest stage, normally, if the entrepreneur has done things properly, then it can be associated with selling the business at the good price, with finding investors, with selling the business through IPO, initial public offering. Either if things weren't done properly, then the business has to be liquidated and assets has to be sold in order to pay the creditors. In terms of entrepreneurship, I want to discuss a little bit about the typologies we have, taking into consideration the degree of innovation. Very often, students were asking me if I have an idea that is not very innovative, but it creates value. I'm still an entrepreneur? Definitely you are, and I'm gonna refer to Bill Drayton, to Bill Owlet perspective from MIT, and he classifies organizations that in 2 categories: small and medium-sized enterprises and innovation-driven enterprises, based on the degree of innovation. And as you may see in this 2 graphic, we see the fact that in the first category, we have organizations that provide services. Of course, the initial investments are not very high, but then there is the revenues, the cash flow, and the jobs they grow up to a certain level and then they become linear. But still, this kind of organizations, even if are not very innovative, they provide value and they have their customers. They are more likely to address local markets and regional markets, and the investments are not so impressive and so high. The idea is that if we are talking about innovation-driven enterprises, we have to have in mind that this kind of innovations, this kind of organizations rely on products or solutions that are highly innovative. They are more likely to grow exponentially once they once they are successful. Of course, in order to create those innovations, you need much more time, more resources, and more diverse ownership. But the idea is that the market will be the focus on the market is gonna be the market will be talking about it would be a wider market. In order to develop such organizations, innovation-driven enterprises, it's mandatory to combine technology essentials with business essentials. At this point, once you have the skills to create an innovative product and to develop an innovative product or process, then you have to know how to sell it, how to develop the business, how to set strategies, how to organize the company, the processes internally in such a way to scale up the business. So combining technology essentials and business essentials is the key, let's say, a key element in order to have an innovation-driven enterprise. This is not easy to be done, and then it requires an interdisciplinary team. It implies knowledge from different areas. So an entrepreneur should pay attention to the roles within his team. So in his team, there should be financial controller, marketing specialist, a technician, and a leader that ensures the cohesion between the employees with different perspectives, different skills, in such a way to create synergy and to enable them to work together towards a common vision. If we're talking about innovation-driven enterprise, here we have to have in mind the fact that the entrepreneurship process is much more complex. And the research and development that plays a major role. You remember the previous graphic that highlights only the main steps that we have to take into consideration once we start a business. But once we're talking about innovation-driven enterprises, research and development and constant validations are essential. So of course, through research and development, you have to develop, to ideate, to see what the concept is going to be about, to see how you can validate the concept within the laboratory, and then see the possibilities you have in order to validate the concept in a real environment. Research and definitely validation enables you to see validation with testers, with users is essential at this step. But it's not only the data collection. It's important, the data collection, but not an important aspect here is the way you collect and manage the data, and you use the synthesis of the data in such a way to integrate the data you've collected within the knowledge, within your activities, in such a way to create a validation channel and to constantly improve the concept. Once you come with a concept, of course, you have to pay attention to what's happening on the market, what are the market trends. And here we have to take into consideration the political, economical, social, technological, ecological, legal factors that can raise opportunities and threats. At the same time, you have to see what others are doing in your industry, direct and indirect competitors, to see their strategies and see the way you can come up with solutions or others, or customize and develop your strategies in order to reach competitive advantage, in order to differentiate yourself. Prototyping, and as you may see, validation is essential, and definitely validate nowadays is essential. It is extremely important to come up and to develop the activities and to develop to customize your product or the service you want to provide it in line, services you want to provide it in line with what the customer needs. And the validation process has to take place along the way. Once you have a prototype, it's going to be much more easier to show to your customer what's the concept, what's the concept about. And then you can validate it. You can test the prototype functionality on the market in order to collect data, in order to see what can be done and improved, what you can improve. Regarding the next element that goes hand in hand with prototyping is paying attention to the intellectual property. Intellectual property ownership is mandatory in order to have a competitive advantage, checking the patents available, and knowing if you are coming with something completely new, this should be the next step that you have to take into consideration. Because you have to protect your intellectual, you have to protect your creation. Regarding the business model, the next step, of course, many entrepreneurs are able to develop products, but they are not necessarily able to develop a business model. Once you have a product, you are able to create a product. This doesn't mean that you are very efficient in developing the operations needed in order to create, to sell, to distribute that specific product. Okay, so a business model, knowing how to organize it, how to operationalize the processes, how to interact with key stakeholders, suppliers, and business partners is definitely an aspect that is mandatory to be considered. Scaling up is the actually through the scaling up. Once you have a business model, you have to develop a product line, and then you have to find ways to diversify your portfolio, to develop your portfolio by launching different products, more products, and market expansion is also part of the scaling up. Strategic management becomes much more important at this stage, because the complexity of the business, of the system that you are running is higher. So developing a multidisciplinary team is essential. The knowledge management process, how you create, how to transfer, how you make available the knowledge to your employees, is very much important in order to be able to be flexible, in order to have an agile approach. Setting strategic partnerships with stakeholders can make a difference. If you can rely on your partners, this might bring many benefits. So social capital development is essential. And when I say social capital, I'm not referring to the money we need in order to create a startup, but I'm referring to the social capital as the networks that you are able as an entrepreneur to develop with key stakeholders. Another perspective is the one of that highlights the fact that entrepreneurship can be considered based on the social mission. So here we have two categories. social entrepreneurship and conventional entrepreneurship. In the last years, we have seen the fact that more and more social enterprises have created an impact on the society. We can see the fact that there are around 10 million social enterprises globally, and the number is even, I think, it's increasing. Another thing is the fact that social enterprises create valuable opportunities, not only for beneficiaries, but also for people, because they can, it creates around 200 million jobs worldwide. Social entrepreneurship, once we talk about social entrepreneurship, what we have to have in mind is the fact that the social mission, social and environmental mission is essential. Normally this process relies significantly on solid ethical principles. And what is also very much important that has to be highlighted is the fact that the profit is important, but it's seen as an end, is seen as a mean to accomplish the social mission, not an end for the organization. Facilitators in social entrepreneurship, what we need to know is the fact that having a sustainability mindset will enable, it's a major facilitator, mainly because once the entrepreneur or the people are running a social enterprise will pay attention to the way resources are used in a meaning, they will show respect for social justice. Definitely the practices that they are going to implement are going to be in line with such values and beliefs. Regarding the inclusive community, here we have to take into consideration the fact that an inclusive community values all the members, showing the fact that everyone can provide value to the community and have a valuable contribution to the community development. Social change means that once we take into consideration social change, we have to have in mind the fact that it refers to the improvement or the changes in the conditions of vulnerable groups, because this can be quite difficult to be changed. And it seems that once vulnerable groups are able to help themselves by having access to the instruments and by learning how to help themselves, they will generate a major impact on the society as well. Also, they are not going to be seen as a burden for the society. We have to clarify a little bit the differences between social entrepreneurship, and through this figure, we see the fact that social entrepreneurship has a mission motive, while corporate, once we are talking about CSR or corporate social entrepreneurship, this is an approach developed by companies, by organizations that have as a main purpose to make profit. Okay, and CSR actually is mostly the CSR strategies are mostly developed by the organizations, either because they want to respect the law, either because they want to, for marketing purposes, or either because the owner wants to consider CSR as a core value of their strategy. Based on the complexity of the strategies, we have three categories of organizations. But what we have to have in mind is the fact that CSR is actually a strategy developed by organizations that have as a main purpose obtaining the profit. While we're talking about social entrepreneurship, considering as I mentioned, they are mostly oriented towards social mission, and I will stop here a little bit by mentioning that the fact that social enterprises are hybrid organizations that are able to address social and environmental mission, and they are able to create a mechanism that financial mechanisms that enable the organization to support social and environmental initiatives. In Romania, we have the law 219, social economy organizations. According to this law, the social economy organizations have to invest 90% of the profit in order to sustain the social mission. And if the organization doesn't reach its purpose, the remaining assets has to be sold or has to be transferred to a social enterprise. Most of the organizations within in our country, we have another. I have to mention here very quickly, very briefly. The time is passing very quickly. I didn't expect that. So the idea is that what I wanted to mention here is the fact that many non-profit organizations create spin-offs, social enterprises, because they want to have a source of income, and this one is one of the reasons, or the other, there is another reason. Sometimes the NGO, the mission of the NGO is not in line with the social enterprise, and they want to operate and to be more focused on developing economic activities, and due to this fact they create standalone units. Social entrepreneurs have a very complex profile, and what we have to have into consideration is that a social entrepreneur is an individual that creates sustains organizations that and vulnerable groups that are changing the world, are coming with solutions that are meant to create social value in a sustainable way. And there is a perspective of Bill Drayton here, and I have to mention the fact that social entrepreneurs are not content to just give away the fish, but they fish or teach others how to fish, but they will not rest until they revolutionize the fishing industry. I think that this description describes very well the meaning of entrepreneurship. Here you will see some of the some social entrepreneurs that operates in Romania. ADV, it's a federation, has a major, it's a foundation that has a great history, and they started, they played a major role in the development of social economy development in Romania. They contributed to more than 115 social enterprises. They contribute to the creation of more than 150 social enterprises. They have several social enterprises owned by them. Also, we have here the example of Simona Lakatos. She has created the IRCEM Institute, in the Institute for Circular Economy. It's quite, she has used her experience as a researcher in the area, and now she sustains the development of social economy. Many examples. If you want to check more about these examples, feel free to do it. Regarding the innovation, I want to mention the fact that there are two different approaches. Here we shall take into consideration the market pull and a technology push. Of course, once we are talking about creating something new, we have to take into consideration the fact that we need to, market pull means that you have an idea regarding what you want to, the problem that you want to address, but you are in contact with customers in order to gather information from them. Technology push, this approach is mostly used by the engineers and scientists, and they come up with a solution and they are trying to find an opportunity on the market. What we have to take into consideration here is the fact that creativity is a source of innovation, but this means that creativity is that the ability to create ideas, but innovation is the capacity to make use of an invention and the commercialization of invention. Actually, if many people came with innovative ideas, they were able to create inventions, but they were not necessarily able to sell them on the market. So you are innovative, fully innovative, once you are able to show the value you are proposing and you can convince the users to buy your product. Innovation can rise from different sources, unexpected contexts, maybe unconformities. People were looking for certain answers, but then they saw that the results were different, but those results were valuable for another problem that they consider. So industry, market structure, the changes on the market always can rise opportunities, the changes in demographics, changes in the perception of the customers might open up new ways to new sources of innovation. What is also very much important, and I addressed this topic, it's quite important to, once you are you have to identify a problem. You have to come up with a solution to that specific problem. And in order to do that, you have to understand what customer difficulties and challenges are. What are the underperforming solutions that the client has access to, in order to understand what you have to do. Creativity, very much important. I said that it's a raw material for innovation. Here you have to, in order to stimulate creativity within your team, but also in order to encourage, in order to stimulate your own creativity, you have to encourage diversity. You have to look to different possibilities and try to be open-minded. Learn about any experience, even if it's a fail. This means that this is extremely valuable, and accept failure because it's part of the process, especially if you are experimenting and if you are trying new things in a domain that maybe you are new. So accept failure because it's part of the process. Use hobbies, capitalize on them, because this will help you to have fun once you are developing your startup and your project. But at the same time, this will help you, will fuel your creativity and persuasiveness, or your willingness to face challenges. Also, growth mindset is essential. Perceive problems as opportunities for development, for new solutions. Be part of a learning community. Always be prepared to what's new and different, and pay attention to what others, more experienced people are telling you. Read newspapers, discuss with, use external sources of information all the time, discuss problems, try to validate your concerns and concerns related to the product with suppliers, business partners, because you might find solutions much more easily. Search for patents and take a look at the ones that whose term has expired. Some recommended books. Once you pass through the material, I would recommend you to read Build Better Brains, Talk to Humans, and also those that are new in the area, the Small Business Management and Essential Entrepreneurship in Small Business Management. Key takeaways. So entrepreneurship is a team sport. So find a team, work together, and find two complementary skills. At the same time, try to pay attention to what you are passionate about and use this in order to fuel your entrepreneurship journey. Of course, you had the opportunity to see the fact that entrepreneurship has many meanings, but it very much depends on what entrepreneurship means to you. As I told you, you will have a quiz. Don't forget to use fill out the quiz. Here is the QR code. What you have to know is the fact that you have to use your institutional address in order to access the quiz. Okay.